just couldn't afford the trip, so I thought I'd wear the shirt. Try to just feel like I was getting the vacation.
Mine says "Let the Tigers Tiger." What does that mean?
Oh, let's shout out to Rhett and Link. All right, welcome back to Pop Up Fizzle, folks. I'm Jeff.
I'm Heidi.
And we are here to give you our spoiler thoughts about Captain Marvel, or Marvel.
Marvel.
Shazam. One of those people.
That movie's coming in 3 weeks.
That's the distinguished competition. Okay, so this is, we've already done our non-spoiler review. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I'm going to give you a chance to back out of this now. I'll put the link to the non-spoiler down in the comments. Not in the comments, in the description.
In the description. You put it in the comments.
I could, but
you just be talking to yourself.
That'd be weird.
You'd be talking to yourself.
I am talking to myself, or at least right now. Anyway, so we're going to have a little bit of a spoiler discussion about the film, and we're going to let you in on it. So this will be your last chance, if you haven't seen the movie, to back out. Now, if you have seen the movie, stick with us. We're going to tell you our thoughts about the movie overall. We're probably not going to hit every single point. This is how these videos work. Probably 2 days from now, we're going to have a whole other discussion that things that we remembered that we didn't say today, and that's just kind of how it goes. It's late at night, actually, right now. We just got back from seeing the film. And we're just going to talk about it, full-on spoiler version, and invite you to participate. Yep. And certainly anything that we miss that you want to talk about, do so down below. This is a spoiler video, so you're free to spoil down below.
Yep.
All right?
Let me just say, I absolutely love the little Marvel scroll, like the scrolling screen.
Yeah, I wanted to start there too.
Oh, thank you, Marvel.
Yeah,
thank
just
you so
a
much.
Wonderful Stan Lee tribute to open this film.
And a thank you to him, a shout out.
Yeah,
so
lots of images of Stan in the Marvel logo as opposed to the normal superheroes that we get. We got our hero, Stan Lee. And very cool way to open. I didn't know that was going to happen.
I didn't know that was going to happen either, and I was like, wait, what are they doing? Oh my gosh! And with the Marvel, like the Avengers, sort of hero music, it was the best.
It was a little emotional for me. I'm still having a hard day. It was hard for me when we went to see Into the Spider-Verse. It was hard to see that cameo. I was actually you and I were watching a video of a Disney cruise where they were doing the Marvel Day at Sea.
Oh.
And there's a bit of the Marvel Day at Sea where Stan is in like the naval uniform
and like talking to the crowd
and talking to the crew and to the crowd.
Everyone.
And it was just like, it's gonna hurt now every time we see him that he's gone.
It'll get better. It'll get better with time. But it was really nice that Marvel actually took the time and opportunity to give a shout out to Stan instead of just bowling forward and just doing their normal thing. Yeah, so it was really nice.
Yeah, very cool. And while we're on the topic of Stan, we'll go ahead and discuss his cameo in this film, which I thought was really sweet because this movie takes place in 1995, and we got this really nice cameo of Stan on the train reading the script to Mallrats and rehearsing his line, which is a Stan Lee line anyway, so not just a movie line, but that whole thing was just great because we only saw him for a second, and then the script was back in front of us.
But it was lovely to see Captain Marvel just smiling down at him.
Yeah,
that was
it was really sweet. It was really cool. So we're going to talk spoilers for the movie overall, and now in the non-spoiler discussion, if they missed that, you had some issues with the soundtrack.
Hated it. Sorry, just I flat.
She's not holding back. Man.
No,
She's
I flat out hated it. It was like all
guys on film.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, I don't know if that was the right set of snaps, but anyway, so everything that was orchestrated, that was like original music, I felt
on film. I think. Sorry.
Yes, it
My
was.
brain.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. But everything that was orchestrated, everything that was original to this sounded great. It was very, it felt like the right type of music for it. And then suddenly we're hearing No Doubt. And I'm like, I like No Doubt. I enjoyed...
No doubt she does.
I enjoyed the music that they put out. I liked that song from Hole. I mean, it's one of the few that I do, but I liked it.
I couldn't name you a song from Hole, so if there was a song from Hole in there,
I
couldn't have told you.
There was.
Yep.
But
which song was the worst offender?
The I'm Just a Girl.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the worst. That was the absolute worst.
The only one, like, I got that one. So, like, if that had been the only song in there that was a girl power kind of song, like, underscoring that whole thing, which, it wasn't an underscore. You know how, like, when somebody's angry, And instead of just like underlining something that they think is important, they like scribble like where it's like scratching through the paper. That's what that felt like to me. Like not just underscoring it, but like you are going to pay attention to this.
She's that girl.
Yeah, and it was like
it's that girl doing this. Oh my God, she's a girl, but look at what she's doing.
And here's my worry. Okay, there were so many people, and I'm not gonna slam anybody for their opinion, even if I think it's wrong. But there were so many people ready to hate this film because of things that the actors have said, that I feel like we're already going to give this movie a harsh look, and we're already trying to sabotage the movie with reviews in advance and all that stuff. And my fear is that by overshooting it with the music and really going so too far to make it about girl power, just the music, that people are going to miss the actual message of the film and how well girl power was handled in the film.
In the rest of the film.
Because it's like a little bit of feeding the trolls by having the music be so over the top, beating that drum.
Marvel, you're never gonna watch this channel anyway. But Marvel, if you ever do see this, opinion, make an alternate soundtrack that we can just watch and enjoy, so that we don't have to hear that, please.
And like she said, there's nothing wrong with any of those songs.
Yeah.
It's more that you had a movie that was saying so much more than those songs could have said anyway.
Yeah.
By having the songs rolling on top of some of that, it just seemed too much. It was like, it was like the difference between a solid actor doing a solid performance, and somebody who overacts and the really cheesy, over the top, scenery chewing in a bad way kind of thing.
Yeah.
It like turned it from one subtle performance into a little bit too much, and really it was just the music to blame for that. Like the movie itself, I thought handled everything well.
I really, really enjoyed this movie. I don't want anyone to think that I didn't.
We had a strong female lead who was strong throughout.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It wasn't a waffly kind of strength. It wasn't like, oh, she had to rise up to that point of strength. No, she was always strong. She doubted some things because she didn't know everything about her past, but she was never weak. She never needed anybody to save her and to fix her or anything like that. So they didn't fall into any of those traps.
She didn't get kidnapped. Yeah. She didn't need a male to rescue her. None of that stuff. She was her, and she was a hero.
Right. And so it's almost like they shot themselves in the foot with the music a little bit.
And like I said, it's like I feel like they were trying too hard for the Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. There are still some of you out there who haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy, and I implore you to do so. Anyway, but like there was so much about that soundtrack that was just perfect, and it just fit in so well, and it was part of the character, and it was great.
You're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. That's what I said. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So much that was part of Star-Lord, and everything was perfect about that. This was just not even close. Even her wearing a Nine Inch Nails shirt, I was just like, oh, haha, she's in the 90s. I get it. Whatever. I also thought, wow, it must be nice to be able to just take something off of a mannequin and put it on. But whatever. That was another thought.
Yeah. But
but that's okay. Those are the
back to the
things.
music thing for a second. Yeah. The only music that pulled me out, because you said almost all of them did for you. The only one that pulled me out was the Nirvana song playing in that scene where she talks to the Supreme Intelligence.
Yeah, Come As You Are.
Only because that song screams mid-90s to me, and it's like we get it. She's in the 90s. Like, it was just, and that wasn't even a girl power thing.
No, it wasn't.
It was just like...
Yeah, that was not...
There were so many other songs that were hits in the 90s that I still wouldn't recognize, and you give me one of the handful that I actually would, because I just didn't listen to radio in the 90s. But yeah.
But the thing is, I get it, and it was like part of the scene, like part of the reveal of who the Supreme Intelligence was to her and all of that. But it was just like, that's a stupid song for that. It's just not right. I didn't feel like it was the right song. If they wanted to have a song underscore the importance of that was just a bad thing.
There were a couple of cheesy things too that were like just underscoring the hey, we're in the 90s thing. Like we didn't
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster was fine because Blockbuster wasn't. I mean, it was there without being obtrusive, but
This is true.
we didn't need a Fresh Prince reference.
Nope.
You know, like you said, the Nine Inch Nails shirt. It's like you're trying too hard.
Like, I mean, the cars were perfect and they were not obtrusive. Like everything, like the set dressings and all of that were fine, but like there were some things that it's just like, yes, we know we're in the 90s.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Stan Lee reading a Mallrats script, very 90s, and subtle. We didn't need the constant like reminder of what time we were in.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are minor things. Like a Fresh Prince reference didn't pull me out of the movie.
No, but the
it was just that
soundtrack did.
Yeah, it was just that the music was so.
Throw that out. I like this movie. I thought it was great. I really didn't have any problem with it. Now, you had mentioned in our non-spoiler review that people were complaining about how she was kind of blank in between. Thank you. I was hoping for that, actually.
That was bothering you.
A little bit.
Sorry.
A little bit. But like that she was kind of blank and like expressionless, but like it was perfect for her character because she was trying to figure out what was going on. She didn't remember who she was.
And her memories have been messed with, so she's
processing.
Yeah, but even when she wasn't processing, early on when we first see her sparring, she's had a sense of humor.
She's funny.
She had a personality. So yeah, all those worries were kind of for nothing. They didn't really have an issue with her being too stoic. Likewise, I saw, and I think I mentioned this to you in the car, there were complaints about, they kept showing in the trailer these shots of her standing up at different ages or whatever. That was really in one montage. It wasn't like
throughout
it wasn't like
the movie.
some point they were trying to drive home throughout the whole movie. It was literally just
that one.
Showing us that she's always been that person who falls down and gets back up again. And I thought that worked. I thought it worked for the moment.
It worked perfectly in that moment. So anybody who thought that was like part of the movie as far as like getting those shots throughout the movie, that would have been lame. It was perfect for the moment. Yeah.
I was worried at one point in the movie that it was going to be when they talked about that her, that Marvell's plan was to bring peace or whatever. I like that. I like that notion. But I was also worried that it would fall into the sort of peacenik hippie thing of, we can't fight this fight to do whatever. There are bad guys. Bad guys need to be fought sometimes. And so I'm glad that they didn't fall too far into that we can get these people to a place of safety or whatever. But if bad guys get in our way, we may have to go through them to make this work.
Yeah.
And I think that's more real world than what it could have been had they...
So I have a question for you. So I've never made a secret of the fact that while I love all comic book type things, I never actually read any of them. He's the historian when it comes to comic books.
With the faulty memory.
Yes, the historian with the faulty memory. Anyway, so like how close does this fall to like where Skrulls really are in comic book continuity?
In comic book continuity, Kree and Skrulls definitely have a history of warfare.
They fight, yes, I knew that part.
Yeah, what are you asking as far as...
The turn. So these, I just kept expecting for just half a second until we met this guy's family that they were just messing with her. Like the Skrulls, the Skrulls that said, please don't kill us, we'll tell you why. And what got her to turn.
There have been times in the comics where we've seen a different side of Skrulls. Yeah, certainly. Okay. Now that's not normally the case. No, but I think that was a nice reveal, and I think also the fact that Ben Mendelsohn was playing that character, and we're used to seeing Ben Mendelsohn as a villain. He's almost always a villain. Right. He's a villain in Rogue One. He's a villain in what else did I just? Oh, he's Ready Player One. He's been a villain in so many things that you're just like, okay, he's another villain or whatever, and then they give us a little turn, and it's like, oh, okay, now we're kind of rooting for this guy. I think that's pretty.
I was like, right up until the time I saw his family, I'm like, oh, okay, there's not going to be a turn.
I think that was pretty genius. I also think it was pretty genius to, the Skrulls are scary-looking, ugly aliens, and unless they take the shape of something else. The Kree are, have cool blue skin, some of them.
What was the deal with that? Why did some have blue and some not?
It's a thing.
It's a thing,
okay. Yeah. So, which is one of the reasons in the comics, Marvel, who is male in the comics, was, thought of as lesser because he was one of the light-skinned
Not blue?
Yeah, not blue people.
Oh, blue was better.
Blue's better.
Okay.
Apparently.
I didn't know that.
Also, the Supreme Intelligence is a big blue head in a jar kind of thing. Not a head, it's a big bulbous thing.
Like the face of Bo.
Kinda.
Okay.
Yeah. For all you Doctor Who fans out there. Yeah, but, so they handled... they tweaked some things for sure,
okay.
Including Carol's origin.
Yeah.
And I know that they've recently tweaked that in the comics. I don't know how closely this aligns to what they just tweaked in the comics.
But I didn't hate it. Like,
no.
I mean, it made perfect sense for the movie
sure.
and for the character's skill set, power set. So that was fun.
But since we're talking about origin, let's talk about the notion that her power set basically came, or is at least connected to, the Tesseract. So that's interesting. It instantly connects her to everything that we've seen.
Yes.
Which is pretty... I mean, really, it's a kind of ingenious way to get her connected to what we know.
Yep.
And make her feel like she's been a part of this and we just didn't know it.
And have her be invested in the last 20 years of human history where she hasn't really...
Yeah. And we know now, too, of course, after Infinity War, that the Tesseract was an Infinity Gem, an Infinity Stone. And so... if her power came from that, obviously the Tesseract still had power of its own, so she didn't take all its power. But yeah, I mean, she's got a decent power set if it comes from one of the stones. So
yeah.
So that's interesting. It would explain why she's powerful. Vision we knew was pretty dang powerful as well, which is pretty much why they had to keep him off to the side in Civil War. It's like a Vision over here where he can't just end this thing right now.
He could just end this right now.
But yeah, so I thought that was a pretty ingenious way to incorporate her into things, and obviously her connection with Fury does that as well.
Not Nicholas.
No, Fury. Yeah. Very cool to see young Coulson. Coulson's our guy. We love Phil Coulson.
Yeah.
His first name is Agent.
Yes.
But yeah, we've loved Coulson since day one. My pleasure to meet Clark Gregg and get his autograph one year. That was super cool. And he was the poor man was so swamped with people. It was literally like, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
And I know that's not what he wanted. It was just like, he could not stop. There were so many people in that line.
There were. I also just forget that he's tall. Like, I don't know how... in the scope of things, it's just because like all of the people that they hire to be superheroes are tall, but he's really tall, folks. He's like what, 6'2", something like that.
I have no idea.
I think. Well, he was taller than I expected.
Okay.
But
yeah, so very cool to see him in this movie as well, especially given where Coulson's been in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the stuff that he went through in the last season. That we won't spoil that here if you're not watching over there, but. Yeah, very cool to see a younger version of him.
Yeah.
Fury referred to him as the Rookie, or Rook.
That was fun.
That was pretty cool. Also nice to see that Coulson was always Coulson.
Yeah.
The moment in the stairwell where he let him go.
Yeah,
just,
because he knew.
Yeah.
He knew.
Yeah.
He got it. He understood. And
well, he knew as soon as they said, shoot on sight. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something's off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was
good
nice.
Stuff.
Good on you, Coulson.
Yeah.
Good eye.
Good to see Coulson.
Good eye.
That's right.
Good torso.
Well, his one good eye. That's what Fury called him.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, we got to see how Fury lost his eye.
Yep.
That was
he called it.
He
called it. He called it. You did.
I did.
As we were watching it.
Except I thought the cat was going to be a Skrull. I didn't understand the whole Flurkin thing.
Mother Flurkin. I told Jeff I'm going to put that in my everyday language now.
That's probably what Fury was going to say right as he turned to dust. Thanos' snap.
Oh, yeah.
Mother.
Yeah, Flurkin.
Flurkin was the next word that was coming.
But I just thought it was funny. Like, are all cats Flurkins, or is it just that one? Tough to say. But also, yeah, that Flurkin was very integral to the plot. Actually, It was surprising. I didn't realize that the cat was going to be part of it, and I'm also glad that the cat didn't bite it, because if anybody was mean to an animal in a movie, they always have to die.
Now, I know you and what movies you have and haven't seen. Do you know why the cat was called Goose?
Nope.
It was a reference to Top Gun.
Okay, that's what I wondered.
Yeah.
Only because I think I knew that was a name that was used in that movie. I have not seen Top Gun. Sorry. Sorry.
I don't think that's the cat's name in the comics, but I don't read Captain Marvel comics, so I don't know. But I'm pretty sure they changed it for the movie.
I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
Little goose.
Yeah.
It's totally cute.
Yeah, definitely. I like this movie because it avoided some traps and cliches that a lot of origin movies fall into.
Yeah, we didn't see her get her powers right at the beginning.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
Thank you.
She had them. Yeah, we got that in a flashback later. But also, the fact that we didn't have to have the big knockdown, drag out fight at the end.
Oh, thank goodness, yeah.
She didn't feel like she needed to prove herself to that guy.
Nope.
To Jude Law, whose character name I can't remember.
Jor Arg?
Gur Arg?
John Arg?
Gen X, I don't know.
No, I really feel it was like John Arg or something like that.
Jude Law.
Jan Arg. I think it was
Jude Law.
Jan Arg. Maybe. I don't know. I actually, if I ever knew that he was in this movie, I forgot as soon as I saw him. I'm like, hey, it's that guy. What's his name?
Well,
every time he was on the screen, I'm like, is it really, he was a robot in AI.
Yeah. Well, hey, cool on and good for Annette Bening.
Yeah.
To get to play both the Supreme Intelligence and the original Mar-Vell.
Yeah.
To play the good guy and the bad guy.
Yeah, that was pretty
cool.
awesome. Yeah.
And always interesting to see when they get a big caliber name who you would not associate with making any sort of comic book movie who's willing to do it.
Yeah, and do it well. Like that's the thing.
So Robert Redford in Winter Soldier was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because he's freaking Robert Redford, so why not? Yeah, so seeing Annette Bening in this was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jude Law was great in this. All of the characters, getting to see Korvath? Can't remember. Again, was pretty cool.
The one who didn't know who Star-Lord was.
Yeah, who? Yeah, getting to see him again, getting to see Ronan the Accuser again earlier than we got to see them in Guardians was pretty cool. And it made it feel even more connected to what we know. Because they were Kree. So for them not to be there would have been strange, or at least not to have some sort of reference to the Kree that we know.
Right.
The understanding. So, but interesting to see the Skrull. I'm curious whether the Skrull will play a part in things later on.
Right, because now everybody was really.
There are certainly some big storylines that
they could. I don't know any of them, but so many people were theorizing that certain heroes were Skrulls anyway, and there's no thought to that now. I have no idea. There was maybe when that Skrull family, they were saying that they needed a new home or something like that. I was like, ooh, maybe there's some, no, and then they're on the ship. So, no, not really. I wouldn't think so.
There is, now if you're a comic book fan, you probably already know this, but I know Heidi doesn't, so I'm going to tell her. There is a Fantastic Four story, it's an early Fantastic Four story, where they deal with the Skrulls, and the way that,
an early Fantastic Four story, you say?
Yeah. Once the Skrulls are defeated, Reed Richards basically it's not really a mind wipe, but he basically has them change shapes into cattle and then makes them forget that they're Skrulls. So they're just cows. It's like 4 Skrulls, and they're just like cows roaming out in a field or something. Then later, another writer picked up that idea and made I think it was called Skrull Kill Crew or something. And it was people that got superpowers from eating burgers that were actually Skrulls.
I don't think that's going to be something that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to...
Probably not, no.
Probably not.
But,
I was almost hoping it was something better than that because we know that there's been some talk of the actual Fantastic Four possibly coming back into the Marvel fold and not with the nonsensical fan-forced nonsense.
Yeah, I think the deal is finalized sometime this month.
Okay.
So how quickly they'll be able to roll something, My guess is there are already plans in motion, but how quickly they'll be able to actually film.
It would be amazing if they were to throw that somehow into Endgame.
I was honestly hoping that Fury would lose his eye to Wolverine. That was my hope.
Well, that could be one of those stories that he neither confirm nor deny. But I wondered about that. So the Flurkin scratches your eye and it's just gone? Is that what it is? Like, 'cause
I just love that we were just like, oh, it'll be alright, it's just a scratch. And mid-middle.
no.
No.
So is a flirt and scratch a thing? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I was just wondering if something was gonna like grow in there and come busting out or something.
Well, I mean, he clearly had that eye in that other movie, so he never selected
It
another.
didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, he never selected another eye or anything like that. Are we talking about the end scene still? This is totally spoilers, so we can. I just wasn't sure if we wanted to talk about
The
this.
ending of the movie or the cuts?
The
end credit scenes.
end credit scenes.
Sure.
Do we have anything else for the movie to discuss?
I
love the movie. I think every part of it like hit pretty well for me. I didn't, except for the music. And I'm actually I was really hot about that when we were driving home. I was really mad, and I'm not like, I can just pause. Like I can just turn off the soundtrack.
I liked the fact that her, that she reconnected with her friend.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that they set up a little bit of Monica Rambeau, possible future. Photon was mentioned, which is a name that young Monica goes by at some point. Also, Captain Marvel, a name that she went by at some point. So I like that they're kind of connecting those two Captain Marvels together in this way.
At least kind of blending in comic history and making it like little Easter eggs for people who know it more, possibly.
Right. They did give us, before we got to the end credit scene, they did give us the beginnings of the Avengers Initiative.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool
that was pretty awesome.
Could have done without the name coming from her call sign.
Yeah.
That seemed a little bit much to me.
Little on the nose, but
that's, it's nitpicky. There have been worse
since Captain
things.
America was the first Avenger. Captain America was the first Avenger.
Yep. But whatever. It's
Whatever.
fine. But yeah, I thought... I thought the movie itself was really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Aside from a few things, and again, no movie's perfect, so please don't hear our complaints about the bad things and
or the things that we felt like were bad.
Right.
Opinions.
And think that somehow means we didn't enjoy the movie. We thoroughly did, and we recommended it in our non-spoiler review. It's just that no movie's perfect, and so we pick apart the little things and talk about some of the things that we had issues with. But overall, we really did enjoy the movie. Now, we had 2 end credit scenes.
You should have seen them. If you left after the first one, what's wrong with you? How big of a Marvel fan are you really?
Exactly. Although, seeing a cat puke up the Tesseract wasn't necessarily worth waiting around for.
No, not really. No, it wasn't.
It was kind of funny. It was along the lines of that whole Captain America speech about waiting around at the end
being
of the
patient.
movie.
Or watching the ant drum at the end of Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are you still here?
Are you really here? Here.
Yeah, here,
but the thing is,
watch a cat puke up the Tesseract.
But when I saw the cat, the Flurkin, take in the Tesseract, I'm like, there's only 2 ways that can come back out. And I know cats pretty well because I had some for several years. So I wonder if that's what we're going to see. And I thought about it. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then when we saw the empty desk, I was like, oh no.
At least it wasn't covered with like hair and gross stuff. Yeah.
No, just a little bit of spittle.
Yeah.
Where does the Flurkin keep those?
Yeah, I know. Really?
I know like Wolverine's got like the bone spurs that are kind of like parallel to his actual bones, and that's fine. They stay in there, and then they can
bone spurs.
Whatever they are, they're little claws. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, but like, where does the Flurkin keep those? I mean, it's like, is it like the inside of the stomach coming out?
Well, but maybe they're somehow maybe they're somehow connected to the Skrull, so they're like adding mass. They're like morphing in that moment or something.
Maybe
that's a part of their biology.
I want to know what the anatomy. I feel like it's like a stomach part coming out and then coming back in again.
Maybe
that's what I think. But
I don't care.
But and then again, are all cats Flurkins, or was it just that one?
No, a lot of flirking cats, man. But the actual end credit scene, it took us right into the Avengers
Endgame.
Yeah, well, it took us right into Avengers compound, and we got to see that the communicator, Fury's
souped up communicator from the state-of-the-art 2-way pager.
Yeah. So his souped-up pager was still doing its thing in
they kept
Avengers
it running.
compound.
Yeah, they kept it running because I guess they found it.
Yeah. And we see Cap and Natasha kind of looking at the screens showing all the devastation
the missing toll, like
Yeah.
not necessarily death toll that
Yeah.
nobody wants to talk about.
Yep. But we
yeah.
get to see them. We get to see War Machine. We get to see Banner.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically the communicator stopped working, and they talked about it. Still hooked up to power, still doing whatever. Natasha says, "You got to get it. You got to get it back on. Whatever Fury was trying to do, it's important. Get it back on." And then she turns around, and Captain Marvel standing right behind her, asking, "Where's Fury?"
Also, with not 24 years of age on her.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did this happen?
Lots of questions.
Yeah, we got nothing as far as the time jump for her is concerned, other than she left the planet and hadn't been back for 24 years. That we know.
That feels like a scene from the movie. It felt like a scene that they just borrowed a section of and put it over here, and that we'll see that again in a more drawn out form, probably in Endgame.
Yeah, of course they don't know who she is. Right. Why would they?
Sure.
So that'll be an interesting.
Well, I mean, it's possible if Fury had any kind of files on her.
Maybe they were like, "Oh, she was supposed to have died in a plane crash or something or whatever," and like that might have been where that was left. So.
You don't think Fury kept files on Captain Marvel?
Of course he did. He said he started one on her.
Well, then why wouldn't they know that?
Well,
and Natasha was S.H.I.E.L.D.
But did she have access to all his files?
I would assume she was pretty high up there.
I would think that there are certain things that Nick Fury still kept to himself and only like director level would have gotten to.
Now here's what I would like to see. It won't happen, but I would like to see it. I would like to see Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have some sort of presence in Endgame. I would like to see...
That'd be neat.
The Avengers, here, like everything's gone to heck in a handbasket. And I would really like to see, while the Avengers are dealing with all of this craziness that's broken out and the devastation that's broken out, that S.H.I.E.L.D. comes along and is like, hey, by the way...
We're still here.
We've been rebuilding. We had a bunch of people disappear, but we'll do what we can. We'll help. How can we help? I would like to see that. I don't think we'll get that, but I would like to see that.
That in itself is like even way higher up on the wish scale than like even seeing any of the Netflix Marvel people doing anything.
Sure.
Like they made like a couple of references to it when this first started.
And here's the thing, like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., S.H.I.E.L.D. has shown up places.
Yeah.
S.H.I.E.L.D. has been in the news. So they should know. There should be some sort of...
Yeah.
And it's like, why would the Avengers not have asked who's in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. now?
Yeah, just details.
This Coulson guy.
Yeah, whatever.
But,
but I mean, like, just... It would be... So even that would happen way more likely that would happen than any of those other ones would be even mentioned or shown or, like, even like a newspaper headline somewhere saying, oh, the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, missing. Or whatever, any of those things.
Yeah. I remarked to Heidi on the way home that it's funny kind of because the MCU is obviously taking bits and pieces of Marvel comic book history and sort of picking the best bits, and it's like shuffling them all in together. But what that means is that we have characters at different ages and different contexts and whatever else. And so I was telling her, in the comics, Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, has dated Carol Danvers, albeit briefly. And here he is like way younger than her in this context. And then he also in the comics went to school with Jessica Jones. She's way older than him in this context as well.
Yep.
So yeah, lots of weird inconsistencies there. They don't bother me though because they're building their.
This is just like an alternate universe, another timeline.
And I was gonna say this is how I look at this is because I am a continuity guy. I love comic book continuity. I love seeing things from the comics up on the big screen as close to the comic sources as they can get. However, they're always going to change things. This is just a fact. They're always going to, because people don't have the encyclopedic knowledge of comic books to help them get this story that they're telling. So they've got to find ways to condense things and make things work in the 2 hours that they have, or in 2.5 hours in most Marvel movies or whatever. I didn't clock this one tonight, did you?
No.
I don't know what the running time for this one was. But anyway, but normally they have to change some things to get everything in, and I don't mind that. And so what I do is I look at it like this is the Marvel characters that I know in this alternate universe where things happened a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So to me, the Marvel Universe is always the Marvel Universe. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is a very similar universe where things have happened and unfolded a little bit differently. And so I don't have any problems with those continuity gaps if I look at it that way.
Me neither.
Well, that's just my thought.
Of course, I didn't read any of the comic books.
You heathen.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Any other thoughts?
No.
Yeah, we're pretty tired. It's actually super late. We just got back from the movie before we started filming this. And we just wanted to get our thoughts down for you guys while we could. Heidi's going to be jumping back into work soon. We're going to be running kids' places everywhere and trying to sell some books here and there. But yeah, so we're back to our usual business. We do have some new reactions up on our channel. Be sure and look for those. And we'll be checking out some more things as time permits and getting videos up for you. If you like this video,
Hit the thumbs up.
and consider subscribing to the channel. We love it when you do that. Also, be sure and participate in the conversation. Let us know what you thought about Captain Marvel. Jump down in the comments and do that. And if you want to hash some things out, we usually like replying and at least liking comments, but we also try to reply when we can. So, start a conversation down there. Until next time, folks.
Bye.
Bye.